live again at Atlantic Beach. Zora, what's going on?
Yeah, speaking of talking about getting rid of all this weather, and we're sick of talking about weather, look at this. One store is saying, get lost. This store has been here for decades. We're in Atlantic Beach, and they say, okay, Bertha, get lost. I'm going to even come down. We go to Isabel in 03, and now all the way down to I mean, this store is sick of it. Conditions overall have calmed down here, but like I've been saying all night, it's touch and go. 2 minutes ago, it was torrential downpour. Now, nice calm. But hey, I think everybody is on the same strand when we say, hey, weather, get lost, won't you? Back to you guys.
All right, Zora, thank you so much. Get in there, stay safe, and get dry. Live in Atlantic Beach, and Zora, what's going on there?
Hermine is here right now, lots and lots of rain. And during our 2 previous shows, I was saying that the wind wasn't really an issue, but now it's definitely starting to pick up. I'm at Atlantic Beach, and for the most part, it's pretty clear. But we're gonna walk a little bit. You see these 2 people in the background, they were just in the water wakeboarding. Yes, I said it, wakeboarding. I think they're running back in right now. So some people out here braving the elements.
Now, another danger we have is what we call shore break. You can see these waves crashing hard on the shoreline here. If you get caught up in that, you run the risk of some nasty head and neck injuries. So experts suggest you keep your hands above you, especially when you're swimming next to the shoreline.
Dave Muir was so pivotal to this area's extreme sports scene. More than 3 months after his death, a memorial is still up at the city's skate park, and a rider who frequents this area says he never thought that people who skateboard or ride BMX would be at risk for CTE.
Live at Clark LeClaire Stadium, of course, it's been mustaches for March. Everybody growing mustaches for March. You know, March Madness, you've got one shining moment. This is one shaving moment. How about that? So we're going to do it right now. Coach has got the clippers, and we're going to do this live. You got a big series of Houston this weekend too, right?
We sure do, but I'm more excited about shaving your mustache.
We'll talk to you that about after game 3. All right, so we're sitting, we're ready to go. All right, Coach, be careful now.
I'm no barber, but I'm pretty good.
Oh, man, that is scary.
Yeah.
Be careful now.
Hey, I'm not going to get nose hair, am I?
Yeah, you might get a couple of them.
Hey,
man, concentrate on what you're doing now. This is important.
Of course, we are continuing our team coverage for you from Raleigh tonight. WNTV's Zora Stevenson joins me now. Zora, been a very busy day for you.
Oh, definitely. Thousands of people waited in line in this heat that obviously turned to rain. There was people from Duplin County, Craven County. We even met up with an ECU student. And everyone says you can watch these speeches on TV, but it's not the same as seeing your favorite candidate in person. Buttons, hats, and shirts. If it had the words Trump or Make America Great Again, you probably saw it in front of the Duke Energy Center on Tuesday afternoon.
I could have gone to the beach and sweat, or I could come to a Trump rally and sweat for progress.
Thousands of people braved the heat and stayed in line for hours just so they could see the presumptive Republican nominee.
So I'm tired of hearing all the dumb stuff. I want to hear it, you know, straight away. I want to hear the full thing.
That's exactly why people from Eastern North Carolina and Raleigh, they came for the experience.
You don't get many opportunities like this where the country is freaking out, wanting to do something new, and you got somebody that wants to change things and change them well. You want to hear that. You want to be part of that.
There's a number of issues people are worried about. One thing Trump supporters we talked to agree on, national security.
I know that our country was based on, a long time ago, immigrants coming in, but we got to shut the faucet off now because of all the radical Islamic, problems that we're having with ISIL.
We also caught up with an ECU student at the rally. He says it's important to see the candidates with your own eyes.
I think a lot of kids our age just kind of take stuff off of social media and other news outcasts and don't really come see it for themselves.
No matter who you talk to, the consensus was the same. These people want Trump to do one thing.
Make America great again.
Garlet, Brianna, Ayana, and Mayana.
Looking down, smiling now.
4 lives.
But she always had a smile on her face. She always would laugh.
A laugh that's now silenced. A daughter, mother, and veteran gone way too soon.
Loved her family, loved her job, and she had great potentials in life, and she was looking for great things in life.
She loved to work. She was a hard worker.
3 daughters who had their whole lives ahead of them.
She loved them children. She loved her kids.
Now their family is left to pick up the pieces.
I never thought I would ever experience this.
A mother's worst nightmare becomes reality.
I wouldn't want another mother had to go through what I'm going through now.
Because having the police knock on your door and tell you to sit down is nothing anyone wants to hear.
I just lost my breath when he told me. When it first happened, I lost my breath.
In the midst of darkness,
if you feel like your daughter is having trouble with her husband, to check on that family.
The family doesn't want these lights, this tape, and those detectives around your loved one's house.
See, I didn't know that all that was going on, but I would hate, honest, truly, to see another family what happened to mine. I wouldn't want that to happen to nobody else.
Today, dozens of Black Lives Matter protesters took to the streets in Uptown sharing one common message.
We're marching! We're marching! We're justice for our brothers and sisters.
In the media, you see primarily cases dealing with black men, but I mean, it happens to black women too.
No peace! No peace!
We're overshadowed a lot, and black women aren't always heard, so we feel like we should be standing up. I feel like many people don't recognize that there is a problem, so the first step to fixing the problem is making people aware. We're tired of seeing all the injustice going on in the world, and we just wanted to band together and show that we do see what's going on, and we're not going to stand for it. We're not saying we're anti-police, we're just anti-police brutality, and there's a huge difference.
And as many strides as we've made in society, we're at a tipping point now where we have to be vocal. We have to bring it to light.
It's 102 black unarmed men and women that were killed by police in 2015. Just in case you just thought it was a bunch of names. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Please educate yourself before saying all lives matter, because as you see, it's an implied two at the end. And we can all have a moment of silence for those who lost their lives.
Mass shootings can happen anywhere, anytime. In the U.S., there's more than one a day.
We just never know what's going to happen, and we need to be prepared.
That's exactly why law enforcement officers are here. Put your hands up! Training for an active shooter situation. Put your hands up! This time, they invited the media to join them. We had to put on everything from long sleeves to protectors and, of course, a helmet. The training was so realistic and complex, you forget it's a simulation.
Go, 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 go. This is as real as you can get without being in it. I mean, these rounds we're using, it's a kind of a paint style round, but it hurts when it hits you.
We went through a number of scenarios. Deputies, officers, and first responders act like it's any other call. Everyone works together as a team to get people out safely. Securing the shooter is only the beginning.
Making sure that the casualties, the victims, are taken care of.
The only way to prepare for the all too common mass shooter situations,
keep your hands up.
Practice.
The best way of giving EMS the experience or the awareness of what happens inside is to be involved in this active shooter.
We practice a lot, but we always need to practice more, just like anyone else in this kind of settings. The more you practice, the better you are.
In this week's People and Places with Pierce, we get the story behind the Beartown Bears.
New Bern, North Carolina, the birthplace of Pepsi and home of the Bears. Lots and lots of bears. They've been a fixture in this town ever since it was settled.
The reason why the bear is our mascot is because our sister city is Bern, Switzerland. It's their mascot, yeah, and so we adopted it here in New Bern.
Bern is the old German word for bear, so it's only fitting that New Bern is also known as Beartown. Longtime resident Thea Kincaid came up with an idea that would literally put the Bears of New Bern on the map.
I went out to a trade show out in Dallas, Texas, and saw the horses. And when I came back to New Bern, I said, we should do the bears.
That was 2004, but as is sometimes the case in life, the timing just wasn't right. Fast forward a few years later, and the idea finally got the green light.
We just decided this would be a project that we could do for the 300th celebration here in New Bern. And so we got together and we put a goal out there and we put a call out to local artists.
And so in 2008, the Beartown Bears Project was born. 51 bears, including Baron de Graffenried here, line the streets of New Bern. The Visitor and Convention Center offers a map so you can find all of them, and for good reason. These guys draw in thousands of visitors every year.
We have visitors all the time that come here, and that is their mission. They want to see every bear, and they'll call you on the phone. Now, where is it on this street?
From the moment Richard Zawicki Jr. laid eyes on them, he knew they were something special.
Today's my day to run through the town, and when I see the bears, I gotta have pictures of them. because, you know, walking on the Appalachian Trail, I've dealt with bears, but I just love the figures of the bears.
So how much pride is there in New Bern with the bear?
Oh, 110%. I mean, everybody loves the bears.
Out of all 51, the very first, the toothberry, holds a special place in Thea's heart.
This bear holds special meaning to New Bern, not only because she's the first bear, but you know, it's community. And the community truly embraced this project.
From the toothberry to the flag bearer, decked out in the stars and stripes, the sense of community here is very clear.
It's not just something that's here today, gone tomorrow. These bears are going to be long-lasting.
A simple idea that decades from now will likely become a thing of legend in an already legendary town. In New Bern, Craven County, Pierce Legion, not on your side.
We're headed all the way up in this week's Positively Carolina. The sky is the limit for these dogs in Rocky Mount, and it looks like their ride has arrived.
It means everything. Without our group, a lot of dogs would be put to sleep.
Pilots in Paws is a group that helps transport homeless animals to areas where they can be adopted. On this day, WNCT tagged along with pilot Steve Shoup and his 16-year-old son, Kalen, who came to the Tar Heel State from Northern Virginia to team up with rescues in Wilson County. Shoup has made flights like this for more than 5 years and has saved over 100 dogs.
Have like medicated baths every day.
He says each flight is different, but all very rewarding.
With these dogs that are perhaps the most helpless of all passengers, it's a very, very satisfying experience to get them to a place where they're going to be a lot better off than they were.
Kalen says that he loves being a part of helping make a difference.
We're getting a chance to save lots of animals' lives and do a part in just making the world better.
Many of the dogs looking for new homes live with fosters first. Letting go can be tough, but everyone agrees the pilots who are willing to help their fostered fur babies are something special.
They're sent from God, because to do something like this, you've got to have a good heart and to care about people and animals.
Love ya. Okay, let me in. On this day, all right, Susie, Cotton, Sabrina, Issa, Zara, and Wayne have been cleared for takeoff. It's a hot day in North Carolina, so the dogs are ready to go, and that excitement lasts all the way up. Fast forward an hour later, and we're nearly 500 miles away from our starting point at Rocky Mount Wilson Airport. Now in Caldwell, New Jersey, where the rescues are waiting. Some of the workers in New Jersey say without the program and pilots like Shoup that volunteer their time, money, and plane, they wouldn't be able to save as many animals as they do.
We had the opportunity to rescue these 3 girls today because of Steve. So in all essence, Steve saved their lives.
Shoup says after the plane is landed and the dogs are rescued, he reflects on the trip with his own pup.
I go home and I look at my dog and I say, you don't know how good you've got it, buddy.
WNCT's Angela Green explains how this proves students have what it takes to be scientists every single day.
You're going to be able to see what the strands look like. I teach like I'd want my own children taught and the way I would want to learn.
With 20 years of teaching under her belt, Tammy Wicks is still going strong at Jones Middle School.
And I promised them at the very beginning of school, if you do what I ask you to do, then I will have you ready for the high school. Not just that EOG at the end of the year. Squeeze down here at the bottom.
After they've smashed them into a puree, the students are learning how to extract and isolate DNA from strawberries using common household products like alcohol and cheesecloth.
And they can see that there's a lot of DNA in those little itty-bitty strawberry cells.
It's all part of Miss Wicks' science class, teaching the students how to be a geneticist of sorts without the fancy equipment they see on TV.
That's cool. To actually see the DNA, and they were extracting the DNA from a strawberry, so they could see that the strawberry DNA and our DNA is very similar, and they could see what it looks like. And then they take those strands, and that's how they did DNA testing.
I like this type of classes because it helps me. If I can visually see it,
I can remember it.
Feel that whole happening.
Instead of like writing notes. Me writing notes, it just gets boring.
It's STEM projects like this that Ms. Wicks says exposes her students to different careers, some that are always changing with technology and time.
We don't know what jobs are out there for the future, and the students are designing those jobs.
And that's why Tammy Wicks is WNCT's STEM Teacher of the Month.